What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky review, we're going to take a look at something, well, sort of new from the Super Minipla line, and it is the DreamWorks Voltron Legendary Defender. Now, for those familiar with the actual anime or cartoon, clearly that's not the Voltron we know. They're just tying it in because it's the newer property, although this is a very much old school G1 style of Voltron. Gotta love that. So you got the Minipla logo there, or Super Minipla, because as I found out, Minipla is a thing otherwise. But really great rendition of Voltron here. Got a comet or a star, something in the background. Blazing sword. You have some artist signature right there. I can't actually, I have no clue whatsoever what this is. Bandai 2018. So that sucks that I did not get this. Oh, technically I did. It was in a non-Gundam build. Either way, Bandai logo there, ages 15 and up. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. And because this is a Minipla box, it's not going to cooperate by the laws of a normal Shoky review. So we got Voltron up there. We got Voltron here. We got Voltron here. Dynamic poses. Superior sculpt. We'll see about that. Optional parts. Yeah, no kidding. Although, what's really strange here is they're not showing these in the silver they actually come in. Voltron Super Minipla Model Kit Series. Down to the bottom here, and we've got a nice close-up image there, though that actually looks more of a rendering than the actual thing. Kind of hard to tell, though, because everything is a bit more matte than it actually is. Lightning bolts and all the things. And on the last side, you've got all 5 lions zooming across in a colorful formation. Magnetic sticker, so you can't steal it, because I picked this up at Barnes & Noble. That's how they do. And you've got Voltron 6295. That's what it is, age 15 and up. Yep, that's a thing. No candy gum included. Aw. Bluefin logo, made in China. None of the other normal logos and crap that we would have on a Gunpla, so it is what it is. Obviously, you see how much you paid for it. That's about the average cost. Some people complain about that. I say, well, there's a lot of plastic in this box, so it is what it is. I actually don't even get a breakdown of what plastics are in the box, which has actually come up in a Nerdcast, oddly enough. But even the Legendary Defender can't resist being upside down. So, it is what it is. And guys, just so you know, this will be a 2-part review. I will do the Lions first, which we'll look at here in a minute, and then I'll do Voltron by itself in a secondary review. And for those who wonder, why are you doing it that way? Because you guys don't like long reviews as it is. So, let's get to it. Alright guys, so here we have the lions out here, and we've got black lion at number 1, red lion at number 2, green lion number 3, blue lion number 4, and yellow lion at number 5. And to give you a size comparison, there's Wally, so they're pretty tiny, especially even the arm lions. They're really small, and the leg lions, well, they're bigger. But for some reason, Black Lion, in and of itself, has some of the oddest proportions. And we'll look at them individually. Starting out with Mr. Black Lion here, Keith's lion. Well, it's an okay rendition. The one thing that will be very prevalent as it goes along with these is that the proportions are really strange. So you have incredibly thick, beefy legs, and in this case, a little bit bigger foreclaws or front claws and smaller back claws. But Black Lion's head is inexplicably tiny with an incredibly long neck. Now, that is all to facilitate, of course, the Voltron transformation later on. But considering what they've done with all 4 other lions, I would have actually much rather had that as an option. Well, it would be the swappable head option. Now, the head itself is just articulated with this hinge here, and it does rotate at the base of the neck, so whenever he is in Voltron mode, he can do that. If he's looking down like this, it actually doesn't look too bad. He also has a hinge at the base of the neck, so I guess you can get it like with a heck of an underbite. Now the mouth does open, but if you push it back here, you sort of get the mouth and the face, but the face is actually on a separate rotating plate, so you can keep it kind of hidden. Now, you do have to apply the eyes, the kind of nose-ish sticker, at least the silver part, but the rest of it is already pre-painted. painted, which is pretty nice. A bunch of this is all pre-painted. Now, you do have to put the one sticker and the chrome sticker. So if you watch the build logs, you can totally do this, or the live stream builds, I should say. You can do that. He does have rotation joints in here, kind of butterfly-ish, and it rotates. So it is the shoulder joint, technically speaking. You get single jointed knees, if you want to call them that. Technically, it's a cat knee, so it is what it is. And you get rotation down here at the claws. The back legs, since they are the hips, you also get the hips here. They can come out. You get thigh rotation. And once again, single jointed knee and ankles. And you do get a lot of clearance back here that doesn't actually do you any good in this mode. Although you can tuck the legs back like that. They're even reset to do so. So that almost leads one to believe that these lions can transform wholly unto themselves without any parts forming, and all of that is an incorrect statement. But Black Lion in and of itself is fairly well individual like that. He does have the wings folded up here, but he can rotate at the waist just a little bit, and he has a little bit of an ab crunch, and the tail does move back and forward. It is that. Now, he does come with weapons, as they all do, although now I have to look through my little bins. So each one in my collection has an individual little bin here, and I keep all the spare parts separate. So that's what we're going to do from now on throughout this review. Now, he does come with these two big cannons, which are fine and dandy. And that's what they're called, fine and dandy. Don't you guys know this is cannon? And you can mount them however you like. There's a couple different mounting posts. And there's a thing coming up in Voltron mode that I completely forgot about, and we'll have to consult the instructions. And that is the combination of all the weapons, which I forgot was even a thing, if I'm honest with you guys. So he can totally have some arm-mounted cannons. These go right here. No big deal. And he does have the mouth blade that they all come with, and this is a classic one. Although it is all single color, it would be nice if at least the blades themselves were painted. They spent a lot of time painting other things and said, no, we're not going to paint that. But he can hold it, and he's mouthy mouth. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Mr. Black Lion. So let's move on. And number 2, coming up here with Lance's bot, or Shiro, technically, I guess. Lance, Shiro, different people. Why is that not bending like it should? It should bend both ways. Either way, Red Lion, and it's itty bitty. I mean, this is tiny. You can see even compared to my not quite massive hands here, it's, about the length of my middle finger. They look pretty good. I think the arm bots are probably slightly more scaled, although the legs are still enormous. To me, they should be shrunk down a little bit, though the head is decent. You get some rotation here. You get a neck joint, so it can look down. Can't really look up, but that's okay. The mouth does open, although it's difficult, but it can open, so it can roar. And you can see the discolored teeth. Yeah, because they made you put all the stickers here on the muzzle, and then the nose, and then the eyes, and then the ears, and then the number 2. There's a lot of stickers on these bots. But it is what it is. So you get an articulated tail that can move up and down, because of course what this is going to be later. You get the tail rotation. It is what it is. Legs are ball joints up in here, and they do pop off super easy. Well, at least if you're putting an outward motion on them. And you get single jointed knees and ankles just like before. And once again, much like the Black Lion, his back legs can in fact compact kind of nicely, but the front legs don't, despite having this nice huge gap back here. So you can kind of do that number, but that's it. Yeah, it's a thing. So my biggest complaint is going to be, if you saw the live stream, the fact that it does have much parts forming, which we'll get to when we make Voltron itself. But until then, we have rotation here, and technically we have some bend, although I think it technically should bend. It should bend both ways, but it's not going to because it doesn't want to. That's the elbow, so to speak. I like how I have it too white. Okay, so here's his bin of stuff. So he gets the flaming sword, which is pretty cool. We'll look at that more in Voltron mode, just letting you know that it is associated to his build. You do get alternate head mode, which is my favorite one, in fact, because look, the muzzle is all one color like it should be, and then you just apply stickers for nose and ears and eyes. You get all of the hubcaps, as I call them, which will come back in Voltron mode, so we need to set that aside, back into there. So you have the weapons. So some of them have more melee-ish type weapons, some of them have more beams. So this is a bit of a gun, this is a bit of a missile launcher, and you plug them in on the individual shoulders as such. Sounds like sirens. Can you guys hear that? Probably not. And you do get his mount weapon, which is a weird sickle-looking blade. Also, no silver. And it does plug into the roof of the mouth, which is pretty neat, if I'm honest. I like that. And he's a deadly kitty now. Kitty mode. Kitty spaceship. And for swapping out the heads is pretty easy. It's just a peg. And we'll see that once again in Voltron transformation mode. That's pretty much it for Little Red Lion here. Meow. Green Lion is cursed with all the same afflictions of the Red Lion, except for the fact it bends the opposite direction. But that gives it a little bit of kittiness to it, I guess. I don't know if I covered it, but you can rotate there. It's a little bit nicer. Ball joints on all the things. Head rotates, mouth opens, all the stuff. So these are basically the same kind of bot, just with mildly different circumstances. Looks pretty good, if I'm honest. He gets this type of stuff. I'm kind of enjoying just dumping this stuff out, if I'm honest. So he gets this kind of shoulder cannon, which is for the right side. Doing this looking through the camera is a little awkward, if I'm honest. And he gets the pinwheel of doom for the other side that I can't seem to hold on to. Come on. And that plugs in. Wow, that did not stay at all. There we go. That's a little bit better. And these would do great with some paint. This should have some green on it with some silver. And this should just be whatever color. You do get the alternate head, which once again I do like. And actually, it just shows a size difference here. Oop, can't hold on to things. It's sizable. Head change. Looks pretty good that way. And we do get his little tri-stabby weapon of doom. Like so. And once again, would not go amiss without some silver paint. If I had some more silver paint, I might pull that off. So, there's all your hubcaps as well. Go ahead and set them in the head aside. And here's the cool shield, which we will once again look at in more detail in the Voltron review. But in theory, he could hold that as well, just as he is. Doesn't peg on or anything like that. And there's your little green lion. Once again, not very different from the red lion, so not a whole lot to celebrate. Get used to that. It's blue lion time. So this is Princess Allure's lion, at least in this particular series. And I don't know, it's one of my favorites, if I'm honest. Nothing about it stands out as bad. And the leg lions are slightly more proportionate than the others, but you can see the massive size difference, especially compared to the arm bots. He's a good third bit bigger. The standard head is already way bigger. And I guess they did a better job in the series of making them roughly the same size when it came to being cat spaceships. I think, though, in the new Voltron Legendary Defender series, they're all a little bit different in size. So black is usually the biggest, and the leg lions are bigger, but there's not a giant difference between sizes. So, I mean, we're just looking at detail differences at this point because these lions have different kind of back legs. Once again, they fold up very nicely, so you could actually have them sit if you want. You could have the tail articulate a bit more than the others, so you got a hinge in the middle. It can come back around and be like a pew pew pew, a blaster. like so, and it does have a thing. Now, this one I did actually assemble incorrectly. Originally, I had this totally in the wrong spot on the live stream. I felt dumb. The head is molded very nicely. You do get the big ears here, all the stickers associated with that, all the things. Blue teeth, it is a thing. Now, the neck does articulate way up because he's a foot, and back down, and it rotates and then also pivots there. So that's actually pretty good. Now this thing does have more articulation that I think, headless cat, comes into play in Voltron mode more than cat mode, but you can get a little bit of pivot if you want. So you can pivot that thing, and then if you don't want to do that, you can in fact just make it go away, like so. Cat butt. Moving on to the pouring out of blue parts. I can't talk. Now we have a big shoulder-mounted rocket launcher here. You got 2 sides on one side, 3 sides on the other. Whatever you want to do. That goes there. And this one can mount over here. Now the reason there are of course more posts and more holes is for the combination mode that I have not actually researched up until this point. So I'll have to look at that later. And hubcaps. Big giant kitty head that I actually like better than the standard one. You can see why. The ears are more accurate. You got red molded plastic. You've got yellow molded plastic. So this required significantly less stickers to accomplish, except for this top head, or the top of the head. Whereas this is all stickers, and then you got blue and all the things like that. So whichever you prefer, I guess, is what it comes down to. I mean, technically one is for combination mode, but there's no reason you can't use it in normal cat mode, because it does all the same things with the exception of not having a neck built in. And there is your tri-stabby trident weapon, which, considering I guess it's the Aqua Cat, that sort of makes sense that it is a trident. Aqua Cat. And I'll show off the heads being swapped out later. So put that away, and we'll move on to the last kitty. And we'll move on to Hunk's cat, which, by the way, I forgot to mention that green was Pidge. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to forget. It just, I forgot people's names up until then. So yellow is one of my least favorites because of this giant black chunk here in the middle. Now, I know that it does have some detailing like that, but this is one failing of the design of these particular robots. I wish they just had a filler piece here. For all the things they're swapping out and changing out for other things later, just a couple yellow circular bits to just go blunk on there to fill in that gap. Same thing on blue. I mean, blue has it, but it's less obvious because the color is all the same. Articulation is all the same as everybody else, so nothing really to show off there. Just details. I do like that he has this like rotatey, well, normally it should rotate, but it's like a big cannon. I don't actually know what purpose it serves. You do have the white tail. Most of these have white tails, with the exception of blue and yellow. I'm sorry, blue and black. Don't ask me why, they just do. You have all the details here. You got a red neck. You got the red, yellow stripes here. So he works for JCB or something else. I don't even... There's another one that has color just like that. But when you have the teeth like this, he looks like he's like... I like the eyes. Those look good. But once again, when we come down to extra parts, we got hubcaps. Throw all those away. The much better actual molded in plastic color heads, because once again the muzzles on these are all done in stickers. This just looks so much better, and he doesn't have the overbite, which I think actually improves the look of the cat. Come on, Bandai. And we've got some more shoulder rockets. This one, and you actually have a hubcap of death, which is kind of cool if I'm honest. And this one's definitely more of a hand blade more than a mouth blade. Let's see. Getting the mouth open is not always easy on these guys. Just see here. Open your mouth. There we go. It's like trying to feed a cat a pill. It's just nearly impossible. But there we go. And now he's got a kitty blade, and he can't be happier about it. Look at that. He's just... cat. So guys, there's our 5 individual Voltron lions. Now, as the kit goes, it's not that hard. It's just a lot of work, especially all the stickers. So all in all, it took me about 4 hours, maybe close to 5 over the course of the live stream. And talking to Nathan Simmons, he built it as well, and it took him at least 4.5 hours, and he's not that adept at building. Like, he can build it, he's just not anywhere near on the level of, say, somebody who's been building Gunpla for years. So that's just the thing. So the average builder, even the beginner builder, could get this done in roughly 5 hours, nearly an hour per lion. But, you know, it's not terrible. For the cost, it is what it is. Now, if you notice, there's no panel lining, because I know that certain types of panel liner and marker and stuff like that will, in fact, damage the plastic. So much like the Megazord I reviewed that David loaned me quite some time ago. Don't want to mess that up. So therefore, this is what we end up with. They look good for the most part. They do have their flaws. The weapons are cool that they gave them all those things. They're G1 style stuff. That's great. I'm kind of hoping they do an actual Legendary Defender version from the new series. I think that would be neat. And yeah, I look forward to getting Megazords and other things like that, and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, Gridman, whatever you want to call it, and a few other things from Minipla throughout the day, throughout the year. And the only thing is, they are expensive. This is one of the cheaper kits at 60 some odd dollars. Some of the Megazords go for $100 a piece. Things like Titanus are $150 to $130. Certain other things are stupid expensive. But if they are better than the flaws of this one, then it's worth it. So, it's kind of up to you. Now, guys, I'm going to skip all of the transformation, all the stuff in this video. You'll have to go watch the actual Voltron video, which I think more people will be likely to do. So, let's go ahead and just jump over to that as soon as I'm done with all the normal spiel, like, subscribe, do the Patreon thingy right here if you want to help support the channel. You can even donate just $1 a month. It would definitely help me out. You can also grab Shoky shirt. Those definitely help me out. And, of course, just show that you're part of the Shoky Nation. And I will see you guys on the actual review for Voltron by itself. And remember, as always, to keep on building.